Hey guys, welcome back. Interested in learning the Streams API that was introduced in Java 8 but not sure where to begin? Then you are in the right place. In this video, I will introduce you to the power of the Java Streams API and break down everything that you need to learn in the Java Streams API in the simplest way possible. Whether you are a beginner or a developer working in Java, this video will make streams easy to understand and super practical. Okay, let's get started. These are the topics that we are going to discuss now. What are streams? Why streams? Stream operation. A simple example using the methods of Streams API and an example using any user-defined object, that is using a domain model working with a collection of values. Okay, what are streams? Streams represent a sequence of data. It supports both parallel and sequential operation. Streams are used for processing a collection of values, that is collection of employee objects, collection of mobile objects, collection of student objects and so on. That is, streams act as an abstraction for processing a collection of values. You don't have to sit and perform all the operations by yourself. Streams are responsible for performing that. So it is acting as an abstraction. How do you create streams? Streams can be created from collections, arrays and iterators. Okay, fine. Why do we need streams? Streams are concise and easy to understand. Streams support both sequential and parallel operation. More than that, the number of lines that you are going to write using streams will be drastically reduced. And all the iteration that you are performing is being taken care internally. Let me explain this with a pictorial representation. What was the scenario before Streams API and what is the scenario after Streams API? Then we will go in for the practical example. Assume I am having a list of employee objects. I want to perform certain operation on this list of employee objects. As in, I want to get the list of employees who belong to a particular city. Then again get the list of employees whose designation is manager. Then I want to sort the employee objects by name. Then I want to print only the name of the employee objects. Then I want to get the names of the employees whose name starts with A. These are the operations that I want to perform. Before the introduction of Streams API, if you need to do it, every time as a developer you need to perform the iteration. Let me just quickly show it to you. This is my list of employee objects. Assume I am having 100 employee objects. If I want to get the list of employees by a particular city, first I need to create a temporary list, employee by city. Then I need to iterate through the employees list. Here, check for the city. If city dot equals Bengaluru, then add the employee to employee by city. This is my employee object, right? So now what I have got? I have got a temporary list. Again from this temporary list, I want to get the list of employees whose designation is manager. Now assume this temporary list employee by city has 50 employees. Again I have to perform the same operation. Create employee by designation, iterate through the for loop, check if the designation is manager. If it is that, then add the employee to employee by designation. What will be the output? Again I am having a list, might be assume that I am having 25 employees. Now I want to perform the sorting operation. In that scenario, we need to use comparable or comparator to perform the sorting operation. What will be the output? Again same 25 employees. Now after this, I want to get only the name of the employees. Now again sort it and get only the name of the employees, employee names, just the names, not all the properties of the employee object. After getting the names, I want to print only the first 10 employee names. That is, I want to limit it. What else can we do? After that, I want to print only the names where the name starts with A. So these kind of operations I can perform on a collection of values. When I have to perform all these operations, every time I need to use an iterator again and again wherever I want to check in for a condition or if I want to retrieve only the names. If you notice, the number of lines of code that you are writing over here is huge, and the number of iterations that you are performing is also huge. So what changes when we are using Streams API? Let us see it. Let us see the same example. I am having a list of employee objects. I want to do the same operations what I have done but using Streams API. How this can be done? What is the first step? I need to convert it into a stream. A stream is a sequence of data. So here it is going to be sequence of employee objects. The input to the stream method is a list of employee objects. The output of the stream will be a stream of employee. Can I print this? No, not possible. Because it is a flow of data, sequence of data. Once I have got a stream, I can perform all the operations that we have discussed. What is the first operation that I want to do? I want to get the list of employees whose city is Bengaluru. So for that, the first method that I am using is filter. Here, the operations, that is the iteration, happens internally. As a developer, it is my duty, I need to just specify what is the condition with which I want to check. If I provide the condition, automatically this method will filter the list of employees based on the given condition. What will be the output of this filter method? Again, it will be a stream of employee, as in the data goes like this. So, the input to a filter is a stream. The output from the filter is also a stream. What is the next condition that we had? I want to get the list of employees where the designation is manager. Again, I will use the same filter method. I will provide the condition. The output of this will be a stream of employee. But this time, these employees will have the designation as manager and the city as Bengaluru. Okay, fine. What next? I want to print only the name of the employees. For that, we can use a method called as map. What is the use of map? The input to a map is a stream. The output from the map is also a stream. What actually it is going to do? It will take an input of one type and convert it into another type. It can take an input of string and convert it into integer. It can take a list of employee and convert it into a list of string. Based on what is your requirement, based on what conversion you want to do, you can use the map method. Okay. In all these cases, if you notice, the input is a string, the output of a map is also a stream. That's okay, fine. But what type of stream it is? Map takes an input of one type and converts it to an output of another type or same type. Now in our case, I am passing a stream of employee. I want to get only the employee names. So this time I will get a stream of string. What is the data type of employee name? It is string. So it will return a stream of string. So now here I am having only the employee names. What next I want to do? I want to sort the employees. So there is a method called as sorted. So automatically it will sort the employee names that I have got. Again it will return a stream only. Okay, stream of string. Now I want to print only the first 5 employees. There is a method called as limit. So what will be the output, final output? Again it is a stream of string. You might be wondering, this is all good. How will I get my output? What should I do to retrieve my employee or my string? What should I do to retrieve my list of employees or list of strings? So for that, you need to call some other operations, as in the output can be a list again, or one single value, or you can print the output directly over here. So to do all these operations, we have certain methods. Collect. This collect method is used to return back the list. It can be a list of employee, list of string, list of integer, it can be anything. One single value based on the data type. It can be employee, string, integer, again it can be one single value. So for that there are methods like find first or find any. If you want to print it, you can use the method as iterator, which will return an iterator object, or you can use for each to print it directly. Okay. I hope this makes sense. I am having a list of employees. I am using a stream method. converting it into a stream of employee. Now calling filter method, this checks in for the condition. Based on the condition, it returns the list of the employees. Again calling another filter method, then calling map method. Map takes an input of one type and returns an output of another type. In our case, map takes a list of employees and returns a list of string, that is the employee names. Then I am sorting all the employee names. Then finally, I am just getting the first 10 employees or first 5 employees. For that, the method that we are using is limit. In all these cases, the input is a stream, the output is also a stream. So I cannot read it. To retrieve the data back from the stream, either I need to convert it back into a list or get one single value or print it. So for that, we need to call these kind of methods. I hope this part is clear. So whatever methods you have seen till now, till this, they are called as intermediate operations. That is filter, map, sorted, limit. If you notice, this behaves like a complete pipeline, a flow of data. So whatever you have seen till this, till limit, they are called as intermediate operations. If I want to call all these intermediate operations, I need to perform a terminal operation. The terminal operation is collect, find first, or iterator, or for each, which will return the end result. Okay, what is this looking like? Think of a scenario where you want to take water from your pipe. The water comes from the tank, goes through different filters in your water purifier. You cannot take water in between from the water purifier. You have to open the tap. The tap is like a terminal operation. Wherever it is going through a filter, they are all intermediate operation. That is, it goes through carbon filters, it goes through certain chemical filters, it goes through some stones, and then only it comes through the pipe, and the moment you open the pipe, you get your water in your cup. Okay. When the water starts moving through the pipe, only when you open the tap, the water starts moving from the pipe. Similarly, only when you call these terminal operations, the intermediate operations will be called. So, these intermediate operations are called as lazy operations. These terminal operations are called as eager operations. Now, let me put it in a simple nutshell. So, I am having a list of objects. It goes through a pipeline. The moment I convert it into a stream, it goes through a pipeline. You can call all the methods, filter, map. You do method chaining, okay. Sorted, limit. You perform all the operation. Can you get the output? No, not at all. The operations will be performed. It will return only a stream. You cannot see the stream. What you need to do? You have to call terminal operation. You can call any of the terminal operation. As in, you can call collect to get it back to a list. If you want to get the first element, you can call find first method. If you want to print it directly, you can use for each method to print the data directly. So this is called as a stream pipeline. A stream pipeline has an intermediate operation which is ending with a terminal operation. The terminal operations are early operations and the intermediate operations are lazy operations. Only when you call a terminal operation, the intermediate operations will be performed. Okay. Now I hope this whole thing is clear. Based on this, let us get started with a simple example. I have explained all the streams operations also now. Okay. Now let us learn how to create a stream from a list of values, that is from a collection, perform certain intermediate operation and then call the terminal operation. We will see it slowly. First let me create a list, arrays.asList. Let me have a list of names, that is a list of string. This is my list. Let us create a stream from this list. The method is names.stream. See the method, the return type is a stream of string because we are using list of string. The return type here is stream of string. Okay. Now, can we print this? You cannot print it. Even if you print, you will get only the hash code value. Let me run this and show you. See, this is actually a stream pipeline. So that is the value that you are getting over here. The hash code representation, you are getting it over here. We don't need this. I will remove it. Now the stream is created. To this stream, I can perform intermediate operation. So the method that I am going to use is dot filter. Filter takes predicate as parameter. What is predicate? Predicate is a functional interface. You need to provide the implementation of predicate within this filter. How do you provide the implementation? You have to use lambda expression. Let me show it to you here. I have predicate. This is a functional interface. And in our case it is string. So let me give it over here as string. Pred is equal to. Okay. How to implement it using lambda expression? I don't know what is the method. What are the parameters? So simply click on this predicate. See the method. It takes one parameter. Just to copy this, Control C, come back, Control V. Arrow, method body. The return type of this is a boolean value. So you need to either return true or false. Okay. Here in our case it is the data type is string. So here I can directly give str. I don't have to give the data type. This is type inferred. We are just going to check if str.length greater than 5, return true, else return false. This is how you implement predicate. Once it is implemented using lambda expression, you need to call it using pred.test to test the condition. As in if I pass welcome, it has to return true. Okay, this returns a value, so I need to call it within println statement. Now, in our case, we are going to use the same condition. I don't have to sit and give everything. Okay, now predicate is implemented. What we need is the implementation of predicate. Now, I can pass the same implementation that we have added here. Or, I can provide the implementation directly here using lambda expression. Okay, so I will just comment this and we will provide the implementation. Str arrow, what is the condition? Str.length greater than 3. Okay. What will happen? One by one string element is entering into the filter method. It is checking in for the condition. If the length is greater than 3, then it will be allowed to enter into the next method. Or this string object will be ignored. It will be thrown out. So slowly it will go one by one method. Okay, fine. Now what is this? This is an intermediate operation. I cannot see the output. So it is mandatory that I need to call a terminal operation. There are many terminal operations like collect, for each, find first, reduce and so on. Now in our case, let us use the first method for each. This for each takes consumer as parameter. What is consumer? Consumer again is a functional interface. So how will you implement consumer? Consumer java.util.function package. This also takes string. Con is equal to. Okay, if you really don't know how to implement it using lambda expression, it is better that you go to the interface, check for the method, just copy the parameters, come back and place it over here. Arrow, method body. In my case, it is of type string, so I can directly give str and I want to write it in one single line. So simply I can give sysout str. We don't have to get syso str. So this is only the implementation part. It is mandatory that you need to call consumer dot accept by passing hello. This is how we implement consumer. What is that I need for this for each function? It is expecting an implementation of consumer. So directly I can take it and I can pass this. Because only one parameter, no need of round brackets. And you can print system.out.println. Of course, you can use method references. If you are aware of method references, you can use system.out:\println. In this case, either you can implement consumer using lambda expressions or you can use method references. If you want to learn about method references, I will give the link above. You can just click on that to watch. You can learn what are method references and how to use method references. Fine. Now this is done. I will comment this also. Let us run this. Now here I have got the output. John, James and Kevin. Now instead of this, what if I am just giving it as str dot starts with J, and let me run it. Okay. Here we are not doing any external iteration. The iteration happens internally. As a developer, it is your duty are just going to provide the condition with which you want to check. Fine. Now what next? I want to perform the other intermediate operation also. What is the next one? We can use limit. Let me change some names. So the data coming out of this always starts with J. Then to this I will give limit. Limit and print only the first 3 elements. And save. Just printing only the first 3. Now what I want? I don't want to limit. I want to sort it. Dot sorted. Sort it and print it. Save. Run it. So here the elements are getting sorted in alphabetical order. Because string already is implementing comparator and comparable, the elements will be sorted automatically. Okay. If I comment this one, now in this case, it is going to sort all the elements and it will print it. So we have used 3 intermediate operations. So after sorting, what if I want to print only the last 2 elements, or I want to skip the first 5 elements? I can give skip of 5. Limit will limit from the first. If I give limit of 3, the first 3 will be printed. If I give skip of 3, the first 3 will be skipped. Okay. Let us run this. See. Let me show it to you properly. I will comment this sorted, uncomment limit. I want to limit to the first 3 elements. So it will print only John, James and Tom. Now I will comment limit, uncomment skip, and I will skip 3. So it will skip the first 3 elements and print the remaining elements. Okay, fine. So now we have seen 4 intermediate operations. There is one other important intermediate operation which is called as map. As I told you, map takes an input of one type and converts it into an output of another type or same type. Let us say, check it out. Names.string.map. This time I want to print only the length of each and every element. What does map take? Map takes function as parameter. Function is also a functional interface. Let us see how to implement it. Function takes 2 generic types. The first one is the type of the input. The second one is the type of the output. That is, in my case, I am passing an input which is of data type string, but what I am expecting is the output which is of data type integer. So here I can give it as fun equal to, I want to check the method. First import it. Go to the interface. It is having the method as apply. It takes 1 parameter. So go here again. The input is of type string and it has to return an output which is of type integer. And if I have to use curly braces, then I need to use return str.length. You can give any method of string which returns an int value. Now as of now I am simply calling the length method. Okay. Then again of course you can call it directly in the next line. Fun.apply. See, the input is of type string, the output is of type integer. Okay. I don't want this. Okay. Let me give it as hello. Of course you need to call it within println statement. So end it here. Let us modify this little more. I don't need any return statement. So no need of curly braces also. So same thing, let us apply it over here. We don't have to provide anything else. It is enough that you provide the logic. The input is str. The output should be the length of the string. This time the input that is coming to this for each is of type integer. You can notice it over here. Consumer, which is of type integer. Because here the string is getting converted into integer object. For each. So number. So number. So this is going to print the length of each and every element. Okay. Fine. Now I want to do a filter. Dot filter. str dot starts with J. Now it's printing the list of names where the name starts with J. Okay, what if I want to print this in ascending order? In that scenario, after this map, just give dot sorted. That's it. Fine. Now every time till now we have been using for each. Instead of for each, let us try to use iterator. So I will modify this code only. I will remove this for each. Dot sorted dot iterator. The return type here is an integer. So you should get it an iterator of integer. Numbers is equal to. And of course, because you are having an iterator, it is mandatory that you need to use your while loop. While iterate with iterator. Numbers dot has next. Numbers dot next. Integer number and SISO. You can print the number. Okay. So you have seen how to use for each, which is a terminal operation. Then how to use iterator. This is also a terminal operation. There is one more which is very important, that is collect. I want to convert the stream back to a list. So how to do that? We have to use the method collect. Names dot stream dot filter str dot length greater than 2 dot map. I want to convert every string into uppercase. str dot to uppercase. I want to print everything in alphabetical order. So dot sorted, then dot convert it back into a list. So the method is collect. I want to convert it into a list. So I can use collectors dot to list. Okay. So what will be the return type? The return type is a list of string equal to names dot string. Fine. And print. How will you iterate the list? I can again use list dot for each and use str SISO str. You can print it in this way or directly print your list or again use an iterator to print the list. It's all your choice. Okay, let me run this. Here you can see it is getting printed using for each and also directly I am printing the list. Okay, so this is also a terminal operation. Now in Java 16 they have introduced one more method. You don't have to use this, directly you can give toList method. You can see, right? Both will work in the same manner only. So we have seen few intermediate and terminal operations using a list of string. It is very easy to work with. But what if there is a scenario that I need to work with the user defined objects? Let us try it out. We will use the same example that we have seen, that is working with an employee. So let me create an employee class. Right click, new class employee. Private string emp name. Private string emp id. Private string city and private employee id is integer. String designation. So let me go to source, generate constructor using fields, go to source, generate getter and setter methods and also toString. Let me also add a default constructor. Okay, all set now. Let us create one more class. Streams emp demo. Okay. Let me create a list of employee objects. Use the parameterized constructor to create an employee object. Now my list of employees is ready. Let us perform the same operation that we have done with list of string. First is employees dot stream. You can see the return type is a stream of employee. We cannot print it. Now let us start performing the first operation. Dot filter. Filter takes predicate as parameter. So here you should understand one by one employee is going inside the filter method. I need to check if the city is Bengaluru. If it is Bengaluru, I will allow the employee to move on to the next method, or else he will be ignored. Okay, you think of a scenario, 10 people are standing in a line to enter into a room. They are checking whether you are belonging to Bengaluru. If you belong to Bengaluru, you are allowed to enter into the room or you will be rejected. Again, those people who belong to Bengaluru are supposed to move on to the next room. They are checking in for the designation. So, they will check whether the designation is manager. If they are manager, they will be allowed to enter into the next room. That is the third room, or else they will be ignored. So, similarly, here also we are going to do method chaining continuously to get the exact result that we want. Okay. So, here the object that is coming inside is of type employee. Here I need to check for the condition. Employee dot, in the previous case it was a simple string. So, you can check it directly. Here it is an object. From the object I need to get the city. Get city dot equals Bengaluru. If it is so, then this particular employee object will enter into the next method. Okay. Now, I will use simple for each. Here you can see consumer takes employee as parameter. Means one by one employee is coming inside the for each method and I can print it. So, emp. Okay. Let us see the output first. So, it is returning the list of employees who belong to the city Bengaluru. What next? Again I want to do a filter. Filter, again employee, arrow. Please don't give variable names as E, A, B, C. Give proper variable names. Employee dot get designation dot equals manager dot for each. Okay. Now let us check it out. This will return the list of employees who are managers and who belong to city Bengaluru. I have not changed the ID. Let me change the ID here. I want 4 entries, so I have changed this also to Bengaluru. Okay. What next? The next thing is I want to print only the employee names. So for that the method that we can use is map. What does map take? Map takes an input of one type and converts it into an output of another type. What is the input here? It is employee. And what is the output? I want to print only the name of the employee. So it has to return employee dot get name, get employee name dot for each. Now what this will return? This is going to return only the name of the employees. So here it is getting converted into list of string. And now what we are printing is a list of string. So instead of printing it as emp, I can have it as employee name. Let us check it out. Now see how nicely it is printing it. If I have to do it using the traditional or legacy way, I have to create multiple for loops, iterate it and perform the operation. Now in this case, you are just going to provide the condition what exactly is needed or provide the logic what is needed. The rest of the operations are taken care internally by Streams API. That is why Streams API is used as an abstraction for processing a collection of values. Okay. What next? I want to sort it. So I can use dot sorted. Then let us print it. It is sorting and printing. And the last one is dot limit. Limit the number to 3. Save all. Okay. What if I want to return it back as a list? So instead of for each, we can use dot to list or dot collect method also. What will be the return type here? The return type here will be a list of string because we are converting it into a list of string here. So let us get it. This has to be list of string names. And after this you can call names dot for each str syso str. Okay, let me run this. We have got the same output. Okay. One last thing which is very important. There are methods like find first or find any. What if I want to print the first employee or print any of the employee that is available? So in that scenario, we need to use find first or find any. Find first or find any will return an optional. Optional is like a container which is going to hold the value. Either it will have value or it will be empty. Okay, so we will try that also. Let me use the same employees.stream method dot filter. This time let me give a city which doesn't exist. Now if I am using dot for each emp, let us see the output. It is empty because we don't have an employee who belongs to the city Pune. Correct? Okay. Now in this case I want to print the first employee object. So how to give that? Now again I will come and change here. Let me copy this. Dot for each. This will return an employee only. Let me run this. Okay, anyways it is working perfectly fine, just like the previous scenario, but I don't want to print all the employees. I want to print only the first employee. So I can give the method as find first. Find first returns an optional. Optional is like a container. It will either have value or it will not have value at all. So let me use find first. I will get it in an optional variable. Optional of employee. It's a container. This optional was introduced to remove null pointer exception. Optional equal to employees.stream. Fine. Now from this optional I am going to retrieve the value. So I can give emp optional dot get method which will return the employee object. Correct? I am calling employee dot get city. I am checking if the city is Bengaluru. If it is Bengaluru, get the first element. Yeah, obviously I am having the employee where the city is Bengaluru, so it has to return Raju. So I am calling dot find first. Directly also you can call dot get method, but that is not the right approach. So you have to explicitly call get method. This also is not correct. We will modify it right away. Let me print the employee object. So this will print Raju. Yeah, very good. Now what if there is a scenario where I am giving the city as Chennai. I don't have any employee who belongs to Chennai. Right? Now when I call find first, it is empty. Your optional becomes empty. If you try to call get method on an empty optional, it will throw no such element exception. Let us check it out. No such element exception. So what should I do? I have to check if the optional is having value. Only if it is having value, I need to call get method. So I can use if empopt dot is present. If it is present, then get the employee object and print the employee object. There are many methods similar to this available. Is present, is empty. Here itself you can use after find first, you can check whether if it is available, return the value or else return a dummy value. There are so many methods available in the Streams API. You can go through those methods also. They are all actually extra methods. Okay. Let me run this. Now see, because the value is not available, it is not entering into this if condition and it is not printing the value. Now again let me change this to Goa. I am having one employee who belongs to Goa. So this time it is entering into the if condition and printing it. Okay. The same thing we can modify it or tweak it little bit. Find first dot or else. If the value is available, return the value or else you return a dummy employee object. This also you can use it. If you notice, there are so many methods or else get, or else throw, if present or else. So what are these methods? They help you to provide with optional values if the first element or any element is not available matching the condition. Okay. So now in this case, let me use or else, which is going to return a dummy employee object. New employee. Maybe I will just copy this. And the return type of this or else, if you notice, it is string. And the return type of or else is employee. Okay, so directly you can get it in an employee object and print it. So now here we have got the output. What if I am not having the particular city? Then in that case, it will print the optional employee object. Similar way, I do not want to print the optional employee object. I want to throw an exception, means then you can use or else throw method. Okay, fine. So this is about the Streams API. We have seen how to use Streams API with the user defined object. One last thing which I also want to talk about is primitive streams. Till now, the Streams API, whatever we were discussing, were created with the help of collection of values. That is collection of string objects, collection of integer objects, or collection of employee objects. What if I want to really work with collection of int data types, collection of numbers? So in that case, how to use it? So first is, let us create an array. Collection of primitive data types, that is collection of double value, collection of float value, collection of int values. So let us check it out. So in this case, we are going to create a stream from an array. Int square bracket numbers is equal to new int of. Here I have an array. Now I want to convert this array into a stream. So there are methods like arrays dot stream. If you notice, all these methods take a primitive array as parameter. In our case, it is an int array dot numbers. And what is the return type of the stream? It is not a stream of angle bracket string or stream of angle bracket integer. This returns a primitive stream which is called as an int stream. Let me just get it in an int stream. So now you should understand there are primitive streams. For each data type, we are having the appropriate primitive streams. As in case of integer, we are having int stream. And in case of double, we are having double stream. For long, we are having long stream. So there are primitive streams as int stream, long stream, double stream. Now let us see few methods in this primitive streams also. Int stream, streams is equal to arrays.stream. Now using these primitive streams, we can perform aggregate operations like finding the sum, average and so on. So let me start it. Streams dot sum, which will return an int value. I want to get the sum of numbers in an array. So I can convert it into a stream and call sum method directly. So here we have done it in 2 lines. Let me show it to you in a single line. Arrays dot stream by passing numbers dot sum. This returns an int value. So directly I can print it within a println statement also. Fine. Similar to this, we can also find the average. Streams dot average. In case of average, it will not return the value directly. It is returning an optional double. You all know how to use an optional. You need to call the corresponding get method. So here you can get it as double. The return type is a double value, double average, and you can print it. Okay. And one last thing, I was asked a question. I want to find the even numbers between a particular range, that is between 100 and 200. Is there any method available? Earlier, if we have to do it, we need to use a for loop, iterate through it and find the even numbers, correct? But now using primitive streams, it is very easy. How? Let us do that. Int stream dot range. There is a method called as range which uses start inclusive, end exclusive. End will not be considered at all. So between 100 and 201, because I want to include 200 also. Dot, I want to find the even numbers. So what is the method? Filter. We need to provide the condition. Filter. See, it takes int predicate. It is a primitive functional interface. Filter. One by one number is going to come inside. number percentage to double equal to 0. Then as usual use for each. For each takes int consumer. Number arrow siso number. This will print the even numbers. Okay. Now let us run this. Okay. Here I am getting illegal state exception. In which case it is returning an exception? If you notice here I have used streams.sum. Sum is a terminal operation. The moment you call a terminal operation, it means that the stream is already consumed. You cannot again use any method on the consumed streams. That is why I am getting an exception. See in which line? Let me click on this in this particular line. So what I have to do? Again I need to provide arrays.stream of numbers.average.getUsDouble. Okay, now let me run this. So this time I have got the proper output. Let me pull it up. The first one prints the sum, then we are getting the average. Then after that it is printing the even numbers between 100 to 201. 201 is exclusive, so it prints till 200. I hope it is clear. We have seen a bigger picture of what is stream, how to use streams using string class and integer class, what are primitive streams, and how to use streams with user defined objects, which is what you will be doing in real time applications. That's it. Thank you.